Recently, I've made videos on the definitive games for the Magnavox Odyssey 2, as well as the definitive games from the 70s for the Atari 2600. Before I returned to the 2600 for a trip to the 80s, I thought I'd make a video covering definitive games for the Mattel Intellivision, the technological beast that tried to take on the Atari 2600 in the early 80s. The games on this list are the games that for me personally defined the system, mostly from playing Intellivision at my cousin's house growing up. These aren't necessarily the best games, but just the games that left the strongest impression. Your personal list may vary, so feel free to share it in the comments below. I've got 10 games selected, so let's get to the list of games, which I arranged in chronological order. First up is Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack from 1980. Let's start out with the original pack-in game. Part of the test marketing in 1979 and officially released nationwide in 1980, Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack was the first game many Intellivision players ever played. On the surface, there's not much to it. It's just some variations of Poker and Blackjack, but the large graphics, the keyboard controller, and especially the graphics of the dealer and animations really helped the game stand out compared to the bland graphics of other card video games at the time. Next, I have Astro Smash from 1981. Combining a little bit of asteroids with a little bit of Missile Command, Astro Smash has you blasting as many falling rocks as you can. In an interesting twist, if a rock hits the ground, you actually lose points off of your score. Some find it a bit too easy, able to last long periods of time when playing. But perhaps the ability to last long in the game at a time when many quarter-munching arcade games resulted in shorter gameplay sessions is one of the reasons why so many people enjoyed Astro Smash and it ended up being a bestseller for the system. Next is Snafu from 1981. You're an ever-growing snake and your goal is to make your opponents crash into something before you do. It wasn't the first Snake game ever released, but thanks to its graphics and especially its memorable music and sound effects, this game made a quick impression on me and many other Intellivision gamers. Next up is Star Strike from 1981. Star Strike is not an easy game to pick up and play, and it's not one of the best titles either. But what it has going for it is its impressive 3D graphics for the time that resembled the ever-popular trench run from Star Wars. And watching the Earth get blown up can also leave quite the impression. Next, we have Cloudy Mountain from 1982. Originally known as Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, this game had you going in various mountains, navigating mazes without a map, while collecting objects and arrows to fight back. The atmosphere of the game was incredible for 1982. Hearing the sounds of monsters all around you and wondering what was around the next corner always kept you on edge. The randomization of the mazes also helped with the replayability. This was a favorite of mine back in the day and is still a favorite of mine over 40 years after its original release. Next, we have Night Stalker from 1982. Here's another one that's just full of atmosphere. From the heartbeat background noise, darker colors, and slow pace, which usually bothers me, but it fits this game like a glove. Your ammo must constantly be refilled, and you can only shoot one shot at a time. Spiders and bats paralyze you, and the robots respawn, sometimes at a more powerful form. This is a true classic. Next, we have Shark Shark from 1982. It's a fish eat fish world where you eat smaller fish while avoiding larger fish, growing as you go. And of course, there's the shark that you can either simply try to avoid or nip his tail enough times to try to bring him down. This is yet another game from the early 80s that is both simple and fun. Next, I have BurgerTime from 1983, a port of the popular arcade game done right. Step on food to make sanitary burgers while avoiding food with legs. I spent many hours at my cousin's house playing this game. I may actually prefer this port over the arcade original. It is that good. Next, I have Masters of the Universe, The Power of He-Man from 1983. Growing up as a fan of both the Filmation cartoon series and the toy line, when I saw that Intellivision had a He-Man game, I knew I just had to play it. And really, it didn't disappoint. In the first phase, you ride the Wind Raider, blasting fireballs and bombing Skeletor, which is way more satisfying than it should be. In the second phase, you make your way to Skeletor, overpowering him with your automatic sword fighting. The graphics are great and the music is phenomenal. Next, I have Treasure Tarmin from 1983. Originally known as Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Treasure Tarmin, this game features some amazing 3D RPG gameplay that was pretty much non-existent on consoles at the time. When I first played this, I had no idea what I was doing, but it still left an impression on me. When I finally learned how to play the game, I was rewarded with one of the deeper and more enjoyable experiences on the Intellivision. So there you go, 10 games that defined the Intellivision for me personally. Feel free to share your definitive Intellivision games in the comments below, and I will see you next time.